principled press to hold power to account, to call them on the carpet for every outrage. Someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. And this instinct to humiliate, if his catastrophic instinct to retaliate doesn't lead us to nuclear winter, we will have much to thank.
At the Golden Globes, Meryl Streep did more than just critique Donald Trump's political views. She inadvertently shed light on the troubling reality of his marriage, a truth he had kept hidden for years. As Trump's team scrambled to minimize the fallout, he took to Twitter, dismissing Streep as overrated. Before we dive deeper, I'd like to ask a quick favor. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. While more than 98% of viewers watch without signing up, your support makes a huge difference to us. Have you subscribed? Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to the story. Did you catch what Meryl Streep said in her Golden Globe speech about the Trump marriage? The real bombshell, hidden in plain sight, went unnoticed by most, as everyone was too focused on the political drama. Streep's speech was far from a typical acceptance speech when she took the stage to receive her Cecil B. DeMille Award. While the world debated whether Hollywood should wade into politics, Streep dropped some hard truths that had Donald Trump reaching for his phone in the early hours of the morning. What everyone missed was how perfectly Streep's words encapsulated the dynamics of the Trump marriage. Let's break it down. Streep specifically called out those who wield power to belittle others. If you've paid attention to Trump's treatment of those closest to him, especially Melania, you'll see that his behavior is far from subtle. Streep's words weren't just dramatic flair. They could have been pulled straight from a guidebook on identifying toxic relationships. Yet, the media completely overlooked this angle. While they were fixated on the political implications, Streep painted a startlingly accurate picture of Trump's personal life, one that hit uncomfortably close to home. When Streep said, "When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose," it was as if she was describing what body language experts have been pointing out for years. Melania often avoids eye contact with Trump at public events, and experts have noted how she maintains a physical distance, as if trying to stay out of the reach of his ego. Remember the infamous hand-swiping incident? When Trump reached for Melania's hand during a public appearance, she appeared to swat him away. It wasn't just an awkward moment caught on camera, it was a glimpse into the power dynamic Streep was referencing. But don't worry, according to Trump, everything is just fine in paradise.
Only job is to enter the lives of people who are different from us and let you feel what that feels like. His whisperers will have alerted us to the potential flaws in our balanced power in government, to how we've relied on the goodwill and selflessness of previous occupants of the Oval Office. Someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. And this instinct to humiliate can be wielded against people and the Constitution and their Bill of Rights.
At the Golden Globes, Meryl Streep did more than just criticize Donald Trump's political beliefs. She unintentionally exposed the grim reality of his marriage, a truth he had been concealing for years. While Trump took to Twitter to dismiss Streep as overrated, his team was working frantically to contain the fallout. Before we go further, I'd like to ask a quick favor. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of viewers watch without signing up, but your support makes a huge difference to us, even though it costs you nothing. Have you subscribed? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, let's get back to the video. Did you catch what Meryl Streep said about the Trump marriage during her Golden Globe speech? While everyone was busy discussing the political drama, they missed the real bombshell hidden in plain sight. When Streep took the stage to accept her Cecil B. DeMille Award, she didn't just deliver a standard thank you speech. While the world debated whether Hollywood should engage in politics, Streep dropped some hard truths that had Donald Trump reaching for his phone at 3:00 a.m. What everyone overlooked was how effectively Streep's words captured the essence of the Trump marriage. Let's break it down. Streep specifically called out those who value power and have a natural tendency to demean others. If you've been paying attention to Trump's treatment of his closest associates, especially Melania, you'll know it's far from subtle. These weren't just dramatic words strung together for effect. They could have been chapter headings in a handbook on recognizing toxic relationships. Yet, the media completely missed this angle. While they were fixated on the political implications, Streep painted a startlingly accurate picture of Trump's personal life, one that was far too revealing for comfort. When Streep said, "When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose," it felt like she was describing what body language experts have been pointing out for years. Melania often avoids eye contact with Trump at public events, and experts have noted how she maintains a physical distance, as if trying to stay out of the blast radius of his ego. Remember the infamous hand-swiping incident? During a public appearance, Melania appeared to swat Trump's hand away when he reached for hers. It wasn't just an awkward moment caught on camera, it was a revealing glimpse into the power dynamic Streep was referencing. But don't worry, according to Trump, everything is just fine in paradise.
There were many, many, many powerful performances this year that did exactly that. Breathtaking, compassionate work and responsibility. How easily all of this can be ignored. We need the principled press to hold power to account, to call them on the carpet for every outrage, and how the authority of the executive in the hands of a self-dealer.
From sources close to Trump's team, something intriguing has been disclosed. The deeply personal nature of Meryl Streep's remarks caught them completely off guard. While they had meticulously prepared for political attacks, no one was ready for someone to inadvertently shine a light on the power dynamics within Trump's marriage. It was as if they had brought shields to a gunfight, completely unprepared for what actually unfolded. Crisis communication experts point out that Trump's response followed a familiar pattern: deflection. Instead of addressing the substance of Streep's comments, he focused on calling her overrated, a move as predictable as calling water wet. This tactic is straight out of the insecure person's playbook. When feeling personally attacked rather than politically criticized, the immediate reaction is to discredit the attacker. Trump's deflection was a textbook example of this strategy, and it didn't go unnoticed. For former reality TV producers, analyzing Trump's response was a field day. His reaction mirrored the kind of drama and deflection often seen on reality shows, where personal attacks are met with over-the-top denials and attempts to shift the narrative. In this case, however, the stakes were much higher and the audience far more critical. Streep's comments had struck a nerve, and Trump's response only highlighted the vulnerability she had exposed.
There was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. The whip of the executive can, through a Twitter feed, lash and intimidate, punish and humiliate, delegitimize the press and all the imagined enemies. Currently, I am the most over-berated actress who likes football of my generation. And the only way you can do it is to feel you have to. You have to. You don't have an option. You have to. Stand up, speak up, and stop. If we live through this precarious moment.
According to a producer familiar with Trump's behavior, his response to Meryl Streep's remarks was textbook reality star deflection. Look over there. While running in the opposite direction, it's the TV equivalent of yelling to distract from the real issue. These producers noted that Trump wasn't defending his policies. He was defending his reputation, much like a reality star scrambling to protect their image when their private life is exposed on camera. The juiciest part: sources confirmed that Trump's infamous 3:00 a.m. Twitter outburst came shortly after Melania allegedly confronted him about Streep's speech. Think about that. Not only was Trump facing public criticism, but he was also dealing with private conflict at home. Nothing seems to tie Trump's tiny fingers to his phone faster than Melania calling him out. His desperate attempt to shift the focus from his marriage to politics was a clear deflection, but it didn't work. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a recurring pattern. Whenever Trump feels personally exposed, he ramps up political rhetoric or stirs up irrelevant controversies to divert attention. It's like watching a toddler knock over a lamp to distract from the fact that they wet their pants. Except this toddler has access to nuclear codes. What makes this situation so shocking isn't just Trump's anger. Politicians are often angry, but the disproportionate and calculated nature of his response. It wasn't Streep's critique of his policies that triggered his meltdown. It was her unintentional exposure of his marriage dynamics, the one area where the self-proclaimed stable genius feels most insecure. Trump has worked tirelessly to conceal the truth about his marriage, presenting it as a carefully constructed facade of success and wealth. From gold-plated apartments to designer clothes and staged photo ops, the Trump marriage has always been a spectacle. But behind the marble columns and forced smiles lies a different story. Streep's speech peeled back the curtain, revealing the cracks in this meticulously crafted image. 3 specific incidents from Trump's past suddenly make perfect sense in light of Streep's remarks. The first moment of revelation? During their 2017 Middle East trip, cameras caught Melania swatting away Trump's hand like it was a bothersome fly as they walked the red carpet in Saudi Arabia. At the time, it was dismissed as a fleeting moment of annoyance. But now, it looks more like a woman pushing back against a power-hungry husband's public display of control. This pattern of behavior, Trump's need to dominate and Melania's subtle resistance, has been on display for years. Streep's speech didn't just critique Trump's politics. It inadvertently exposed the uncomfortable truth about his marriage, a truth that Trump has gone to great lengths to hide. And when that truth came to light, his reaction was as revealing as the speech itself.
It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose with spasmodic regularity and easily provoked predictability. If his catastrophic instinct to retaliate doesn't lead us to nuclear winter, we will have much to thank.
What many initially dismissed as a wife having a rough day was, in reality, a revealing glimpse into a relationship where one partner constantly seeks control while the other struggles to maintain boundaries. This dynamic became even clearer in the second telling incident, their first dance as president and first lady. While most couples lean into each other during such moments, Melania maintained a stiff distance from Trump, so much so that you could have fit another person between them. Body language experts, who had long noted this awkwardness, now see it as part of a broader pattern that aligns perfectly with what Meryl Streep highlighted in her Golden Globe speech. Over time, Melania's posture during joint appearances grew increasingly rigid. After photo shoots, her smile faded faster, and she seemed to physically distance herself from Trump even more. This behavior reached a peak during Trump's state visit to Japan, which brings us to the third and most illuminating incident. As the couple greeted Emperor Naruhito and Empress Masako, Trump repeatedly grabbed Melania's elbow, maneuvering her into what he deemed the perfect position for photos. What many observers initially interpreted as simple staging instructions now appears to be classic controlling behavior, a husband obsessed with appearances, willing to physically manipulate his wife to achieve the desired image. Former White House insiders have since revealed what happened behind the scenes after Streep's speech, and it's not pretty. According to one source, Streep's words struck a nerve so deep that they sparked unprecedented tension between Trump and Melania. Trump's explosive reaction, his late-night Twitter rants, and attempts to discredit Streep wasn't just about public image. It was also a reflection of the private turmoil unfolding at home. Streep's speech didn't just critique Trump's politics. It inadvertently exposed the uncomfortable truth about his marriage. The cracks in their carefully curated facade, Melania's stiff posture, her quick dismissal of smiles, and her physical distancing, paint a picture of a relationship strained by control and resistance. Trump's over-the-top response only underscored how deeply Streep's words had cut, revealing not just his insecurities, but also the fragile reality of his marriage.
When it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for other people to do the same thing. It's embarrassing and it's terrifying to put the target on your forehead, and it sets you up for all sorts of attacks and armies of brown shirts and bots and worse. And this president because he will have woken us up to how fragile freedom really is, and how quaint notions of custom, honor, and duty compelled them to adhere to certain practices of transparency.
Trump's late-night Twitter rant calling Meryl Streep overrated wasn't just about politics. It was a desperate attempt to deflect from the crumbling reality of his marriage. Behind the scenes, tensions were reportedly boiling over, and the fact that Melania allegedly agreed with some of Streep's remarks only adds more fuel to the fire. Imagine discovering your spouse secretly sides with your critic. It's no wonder Trump lost his temper. This wasn't just about defending his policies. It was about shielding his marriage from public scrutiny. Trump's obsession with how the public perceives his marriage is almost as intense as his fixation on his own image. According to a former aide, Trump is more worried about people believing his marriage is failing than he is about any policy criticism. This man, who reportedly made Melania sign numerous NDAs about their personal and business dealings, couldn't handle the idea of his marital struggles being exposed. After Streep's speech, Melania's public appearances became less frequent, and when she did show up, her body language spoke volumes. At the inaugural ball following Streep's remarks, observers noted Melania physically recoiling when Trump whispered something in her ear, a stark contrast to her usually composed public persona. The cracks in their carefully constructed facade were becoming impossible to ignore. What makes this situation so fascinating isn't just Trump's meltdown over an actress's comments. It's the fact that Streep unintentionally echoed sentiments Melania had reportedly been grappling with for years. When Streep spoke about the tendency of the powerful to degrade others and use their position to intimidate, it was as if she were reading from Melania's own diary. This wasn't just a critique of Trump's politics. It was a reflection of the dynamics Melania had been living with daily. This entire saga goes beyond a typical celebrity feud. It's a textbook move from the Trump playbook. When faced with personal criticism, attack the messenger. It's straight out of reality TV 101. Call them names, shout fake news, and do whatever it takes to shift the focus away from the truth. Streep's speech struck a nerve because it wasn't just political, it was personal. She inadvertently exposed the uncomfortable reality of Trump's private life, and he couldn't handle it. Instead of addressing the substance of her remarks about bullying and power, Trump went into full deflection mode, trying to turn the conversation into a debate over whether Streep is overrated. As long as Trump continues to use these reality TV tactics in real life, his personal relationships will remain under the microscope. The more he tries to control the narrative, the more the truth slips through the cracks. Streep's speech didn't just critique Trump. It revealed the man behind the curtain, and no amount of deflection can change that.